Welcome to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk, and today we're going to talk about some of the hazards you can get into when you're in the golf shop. Plus, we've got a little helper bee for talking about the Opus Spin Wedge. I tell you what, let's get to that next on What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Again, welcome back to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Jim here. And why is it What's in My Drawers? Because old club makers and club fitters are tremendous pack rats. And I am no different about what's in my drawers in my shop. And we talk about golf club repairs, fittings, and reviews. And we're going to talk about a few things that we got going on through here. So if you would, see this stuff across the bottom where you see this, like right here. It's going to come around again. It's going to get right about here. There we go. All right, if you would, hit the like, subscribe, let the other folks know so we can keep growing on the live stream. I'm kind of digging this live stream. This back and forth is really, I like this. I like this a lot better than making a video, to be honest with you. All righty, so let's get started. Number one, we're going to kind of go backwards. During my visit with the rep, apparently I made notice that I needed to have demonstration stuff, but with the upcoming clubs, they have a new face, and I asked for the model of that. Well, in response, I got this. All right, this is the Opus. This is the Opus from Callaway. All right, Opus SP. SP stands for Spin Pocket. This turns out to be a 5810. If you look at it, it's a standard mill. And if you look, it's got a little heel, a little toe relief, right? And it's a 10 for the 10 degrees bounce. It's their standard grind. This thing would work in just about any situation, to be sure. And that's a good one. So what's the Spin Pocket? The Spin Pocket is exactly that thing right here. All right. So what happens when you do this? All right. So what happens when you make the pocket right there? All right, you get to see the and then what happens is exactly what these arrows are showing you. So we'll say, by the idea of removal of weight, you push the center of gravity up. When you push the center of gravity up, you don't get a lot of flyers. Okay, you don't get a lot of flyers. You don't get a lot of that. It's still naturally going to get into the air because it's 58 degrees, right? And but what happens is you get a little bit more everybody that's ever pushed center of gravities up, a more penetrating wedge. Now, more penetrating wedge, it's not the idea, but you don't want to airmail it, right? And that's kind of the idea here as it goes up. And so you get better spin control, you get different stuff. And you say, well, okay, that's behind it. What they do is they literally put a face on the front of this, and that's what gives it creates a little bit of a softer feel in order to do that. Now, what I've been finding, when we do iron fittings, I go to the Opus just to kind of get an idea of what people are doing. And as a whole, I've been seeing across the board no less than about 83 to 8,500 RPM. That's pretty decent. What that is that's the come in high and stop and maybe bounce a couple of times, and then there you go, right? And that's the way to do that. So not a bad little demonstrator, right? That's pretty cool. Okay. So the next topic here is going to be a hazard. So I am working on a set of Mira KM700s. Okay, Mira KM700s, and I'm taking out some stock graphite shafts, and I'm putting in some Nippon, and these are the 70 gram series. They're the Zelo 7 with the reinforcement on the back end. The reinforcement on the back end with, it looks like kind of a graphite piece on it, and so they're very light. They're also for guys with smoother swing speeds, and we're leaving a 115 shaft in a R, and we're going to this 70 gram shaft in an R. The profiles are going to be totally different, I can almost imagine, but we're going to do that. And the reason why I'm not done with them yet is he wants me to insert a vibration dampening piece, and we had to order those, and they'll be here tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll have them all put together, glued together. The next day we'll have them all assembled, and then we'll ship them off in the next morning. During a lot of this, I got a phone call from a guy named Flanagan. Yeah, nice Irish name. And I'm going to give him a nod here because this guy's getting it done real. As far as being a traditional club maker, this is the guy. And if I always get a lot of questions about refinishing, I should have made that as a topic across the bottom, or the top across the bottom, across the top. And people ask, well, can I get my putter refinished? Can I get it remilled? Can I get some extra, stampings or engravings or something along that lines? Can I get it refinished? And the answer is yes. If you go to this guy, the answer is going to be yes. Now, I've seen some of his work. It looks pretty good. He has refinished some S1SH Callaways, one of the original models, and he made them black. And it's not a PVD finish. It's a N1 finish of some variety. It's what the military uses, and it's much more durable. It will still scar and it will still do that, but it's much more durable than the PVD. Does a good job. He also built some putters on his own that actually made the Golf Digest Hot list in 2013 and 22. So guys knows what he's doing, right? And if you go there, so it's Flanagan Built Golf. And and he's in the northern portion of Ohio. So we sat down and had a really long conversation. Turns out we know a lot of the same people that were what we would consider the old timers. These are the people that were doing it for real, much like he's doing it during the Nicklaus era and beyond. We talked about Jack Wakati there for a while, and they were good buddies. And I said, well, hell, I talked with that guy for an hour, which apparently you can't get away from not doing anyway. But and they talked lots of stuff, and he himself is a Hall of Fame club guy too. So it just did very, 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 very well. So I'm just super happy to have met him, and enough to throw him. He don't need my help either. He doesn't need my help at all. But if you have some refinishing, I would go that part of it. As far as doing the kind of the stuff that I do on the other side of it, that would be more me. But as far as refinishing, regrinding, all that kind of stuff, he's that guy. Now, can I glass bead faces? Yes, I can. Can I finish some putters? I used to be able to, but the hazard was far too high to do this. He's got a total shop that's dedicated to this. It's chrome, this black finishing, all kinds of stuff, and just can do some really cool stuff. And it's an industrial part that I just did not want to tackle. I think it's awesome, to be honest with you. I just think it's awesome. However, not for my neck of the woods where I'm at. All right, so we got him taken care of. So now, here we go. Hazards in it. We're going back to the KTMs. So I was taking apart the KTMs, and I came across something that I haven't seen ever. Now, you'll see why, and when we get done, we'll talk about it a little bit more. Now, this is about a 7-minute or so. Hopefully you stay engaged and we enjoy it all. So here we go. That'll get your attention. Okay. All right. Hazards of club building 101. Normally, when you go to take off clubs or take apart clubs, you need heat, right? Whether you apply it with a propane torch, a butane torch, oven, which I don't recommend, a paint stripping gun, whatever. Normally the very first part is taking the ferrule off so that you can grab the head in some variety and pull it off, particularly when you're dealing with graphite. Well, I've been doing this a while, and this is the first time that I've ever had anything like this happen to me. So I want you to watch this. You want to talk about being surprised. There's a whole nother slew of words I could be using for this, but we are not. So this is a Mura KM700, beautiful club, well crafted, and there's nothing wrong with it, right? And it's got a Fire Express Quadra Tech Composite Techno Japan shaft. Basically, this was made at the Mura foundry or the facility wherever they make them. And it's got this really kind of cool ferrule. It looks to be like it's pre-made, so it just gets put on your way to go. So normally you would just heat this bad boy up and you would get it melty and you would pull it down, right? Well, get ready to watch this one. Look at that. That is incredible. We're going to do it again. You're like, Jim, what the hell is that? I have no idea. But the only way, this thing is so hard that the only way I can get rid of it is to catch the damn thing on fire. Unless there's some other way that you guys know about that I'm unaware of, and then you got to clean it up. Now, what is the real problem here? Well, fire tends to make it look like crap. All right, now it's all dark and stuff, right? And we haven't even got close to heating it up. So how do we fix that? Well, number one, let's get rid of the head. All right, so time is of the essence here. All right. I need a little more heat. There it comes. Okay. All right, Jim, this looks like crap. How are you going to fix it? Okay, so normally, if you look at this, this is the good part right here, okay? And normally, all it is a charring, and you can wipe it off, and you're good to go. It's all over your fingers. However, on the polish side, we can just wipe it down, right? And that's what we're going to do, is wipe it down some more. But I'm going to polish this off, and I'll show you what it looks like here in a second. All right, that first one I showed you was kind of a catastrophe, right? Black smoke, and what it was, that was soot. We were taking off soot off of that. So is it permanently on there? No, right? No. But in case, whenever you're looking to do stuff, you always want to improve your craft. You always want to do that. I found a way to that. We don't have to work that hard to do it. So check this one out. If you guys like flame, you're going to like this one. See how I'm keeping it up? The flames are going up now. One more time. And what I'm doing is I'm just letting it burn itself out. And what's happening is the flames are going this way, and now it's not nearly as bad. Now, the one I did before was actually really, really good. This one got a little bit on it, but not nearly as bad as before. It's not going all the way up the head. See if I got enough on that one. Alrighty, so we got it looking like that. Give me a second. And just that quick, it's right back to normal. I just got to clean out the inside now. But so you want to make it so the flame is shooting up and away from this if you want to protect it from the soot. The other problem you got to look for is that you're creating a lot of heat and you don't want to damage the graphite. So it's heat on, heat off, heat on, heat off. So let's keep going. There. Now if you look, it's all nice and shiny yet again. And just to make sure, and we want to do, this is one you want to be very careful with. Just a tiny bit of acetone. Don't need a lot. Make sure your fingers are clean. Just to wipe it on the painted part of it. And that's the reason why I'm saying you want to be careful, because you don't want to wipe the paint off, obviously. And you can take off the the rest of the gunk you just got on yourself. Alrighty, so that's what we got right here. So idea here is you always want to be kind of careful all of a sudden, right? I mean, I've been doing this for well over 20 plus years, and that's the first time. I mean, I've caught ferrules on fire, but nothing like that, nothing like spontaneous combustion stuff. So you really, really want to be careful. So that's your pro tip for the day. Okay, so that wasn't too bad, huh? That little flame was an attention getter. If you see the very first few seconds of that and you see me jump like that, that was the first one. And I'm here to tell you, it's an attention getter. Now, is that to say I've never caught a ferrule on fire? That the answer is no. But because of the plastic, what happens is it makes a flame. It can't be this tall, and it burns out almost immediately. You start getting when it goes, boom, and you just stop me, and it disappears. That thing was like a barbecue, and I was actually talking to Flanagan about it, and he called it a phenolic, and I don't even know. I've heard that term before, but I couldn't tell you exactly what it was all about. So, but he says, yeah, and that was something from the 70s, right? That they used to use these things. I guess they used to just catch like nobody's business. So the end result is that I've got them all off. No, I didn't burn my fingers. No, I didn't burn my eyebrows off, although I got them kind of covered. See, look, I still got them. Okay. And and they came apart fine. So what we're doing is we're taking out the 115 or I think they're 115 or 105 gram shafts that are graphite, and we're putting in these very light steel. And so I'm probably going to have to do, because the golfer, in fact, he's on here, is David, wants it closer to D1. Now, if we do the swing weight and everything being the same, because he's using a grip I've never seen before. He's handing me a bunch of firsts. It's called Slick Grips, and not probably a very good name for a grip company, but they have this right now. What we're going to put on is this green grip, and it looks the contour of the cutting that's in the grip looks like something out of a planner's diagram for a golf course. It's really neat, and they're about as far from slick as you can possibly be, and they're very much about showing off. You know, they have these really unique patterns in the grip, but they also have other ones. They had one that's called the Patriot, and it's a revolutionary Patriot with the trifoil hat, or the triangular hat, and standing up there, and he's like this, and it's on the grip, and it's on the putter grip, it's on this full swing grip, and so it's kind of a unique custom little setup. Now, I will say that they were only, if memory serves, they're only about 2 grams difference between the top and the bottom, so not a big deal. The shafts themselves were within a gram, so this build's going to be pretty decent. Of course, Mira is tight, right? Tight. Their stuff is always in line. I don't even have to worry about it. And I did check; they fit. They are taper tip. Miras are taper tip, and these are taper tip as well. So I'm going to probably, now if we do the swing weight calculation like we were talking about, if you go from like a 115 down to a 70, right? So 80, 90, 100, 115, or 100, 110. So that's five swing weight points. That's a lot. And that's just in the shaft. There's probably a little bit more. And so what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably just going to add between 4 and 6 grams. Why not all the way to 10 grams, Jim? Well, here's the reason why. So the minute we start using 10 grams, that's kind of the make or break point for changing. The minute that I start using it, it starts sliding this way. Okay. It starts sliding this way. Is this thing going to move with me? It is. Okay. Let's see if I fixed it. I did. Okay. It's going to start impacting the center of gravity. And I don't want to do that. The other part is that when you go lighter in your shaft, you tend to feel the head more. Okay. There's a balance. So if you take out some weight out of the shaft, the ends are going to start competing for feel. And so when we take this out, this head, because it's a standard weight head, this thing is picking me up like nobody's business for some reason. There we go. And let's see. Nope. Okay, I got it back. And so you don't need to add all that weight to regain all that feel. So around 4, because those slick grips are not super heavy either. So we're going to get this balance, okay? And I think 4 will give him the feel that he's looking for. And these KMs 700s, those things are nice. All right, they're very, very nice. I've worked on a couple other sets. I've had to modify them out a little bit in order to make them work. But those are the ones that Matsu Mura is in KM Katsumura, and he was the guy that the innovator of Mura Golf, and this is one of those. He said this was the head that he liked the most, and the reason being is it is a blade by definition. Don't get me wrong, but what he's done is he took off the toe end and significantly took it off on the toe end. And again, same concept as this. By removing it, it put weight towards the back end of the club, and it makes you want to close the club more than if that weight was out there. And then what he's able to do is take that weight and redistribute it and make a pretty decent golf club. So the folks that have that golf club really like that golf club. A lot of people that see it can be very, very intimidated because it's got a sole on it. It can't be that wide, right? But it's very radiused. And that's what I think. That's what gives me the confidence to be able to use it if you're able to. I won't be able to because it's not a lefty club. But it's just a really nice club. And I think this is going to be for a guy that has got a smoother swing speed or a smoother swing, more of a trend, we'll call it syrupy kind of thing. And he's going to be able to get a little more kick into the club, so he's going to launch it a little higher. And when you're at the slower swing speed, a little higher is always good, and it'll be pretty decent. So, and the best part is we cut them to standard length, which I've already checked. We're going to bend them and bring them back to a degree flat, and life is good. So, David, we're gonna put them together. I'm going to put the logos up because this is just too classic of a golf club not to make it look uniform. Right, to make it look uniform. Now, if you want logo down on the shaft, tell me now and we can make it happen. But I think it would look cool, particularly when you have all that going on in the grip and it goes straight down into what you've got going on. It just looked pretty good. But if you want something else, now's the time to tell me. Okay. So we got that. Last thing, Mrs. McGolf, Robin, and I went into Kentucky this weekend and to go see the lights at Buffalo Trace, and I recommend that highly. We had a very, very good time. At least I think we did. Did we have a good time? We did. We had a good time. So I'm being told we had a good time. So, and we planned a few other routes too. We'll explain that here in a moment. Anyway, we stayed at a place called the Trail Hotel. Trail Hotel is, i.e., the Kentucky Bourbon Trail Hotel. It's very, very whiskey and distillery themed place. It's got a bar, got a place to eat, that kind of stuff, and the rooms are nice. Are they outstanding? Maybe no. They're nice. They're super nice. Outstanding? No. But they had a simulator as part of their amenities, and I thought, well, what better way to check this out is to go play it. So I did a video, and for the other channel, Pars and Pours. Pars and Pours. And by the way, If I didn't tell you like and subscribe, please do that. And if you like the whiskey variety of stuff with a golf theme to it, Pars and Pours is where it's at. So I did a video of Pars playing against a guy named Pours, who was wearing a flannel shirt and all kinds of stuff. And got to play 4 holes. I played the first 4 holes of Pinehurst number 2. But putting on simulators is a tricky situation, and at least until you figure it out, right? And I didn't have time to go figuring it out. And putting from where I was at to with the distance that they wanted, I had about a 12-foot putt ahead of me, and 12 foot would have gotten me right to the screen. So I putted it, and I got it right to the screen, and it showed me going 3 inches. And I thought, what is going on here? So I kind of, nuked it out a little bit and went, oh, okay, so all the stuff that tracks everything you need to do is very much forward in this thing. So I got closer, and I hit one, and I got it to go further. And I said, I am not competing against this. It's just going to take away from the experience. So once I landed on the green, it was a gimme. So it took 2 strokes, get on the green, done. Okay. But in of itself, it was fun, right? It was neat. It was a neat idea. I can also see how it would wreck your golf swing. All right. I can see where it would do it in a second, particularly if the thing is not calibrated correctly, which this one I think was probably a little off. But so we took it for what it was, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And it was a lot of fun. Now, the room that this thing was in was super nice. I mean, I got man room ideas for days now. It was just super nice. Yes. And so much so that my launch monitor, I've had an E6 attachment to it. Huh? What do you mean, no? Whatever. Do you hear that back there? No, I'm not getting a new one. Anyway, this E6 attachment, I've never used it. Now I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna use it quite a bit, as a matter of fact, because I know what my machine's gonna do. Will I do putting? No. Putting I'm not a believer yet. Okay, I'm not a believer yet. If I wanted to putt, I'll go out to the putting green out there, and we'll do that. Right? That's just what I want to do, and we'll get through it that way. But as far as whole is just to, get out, knock the rust off, hit some golf balls, have some fun, enjoy company of your friends. I think it's a great idea, right? I think it's a great idea, but we got to be careful. All right, so that's all of it. Let's get to talking here. Oh, speaking of that, when we talk about Pars and Pours, my next video is going to launch in 2 minutes, only because YouTube didn't download it beforehand. All right, back to it. Peter from Myrtle Beach. No golf this weekend, rain and cold through the weekend, and he's in Washington, D.C. He's earning his keep this time around. Hell, you went from no golf, rain and cold to no golf, cold and cold up there. The East Coast, man, that thing is, they're taking a beating. And we're taking it here. We had just some flurries this morning, and it got as high as 35. Tonight it's supposed to get down to 18 with a high of maybe 30 something, maybe. So we're in this cold snap. So hopefully it goes through pretty quick. So watch your back out there in D.C., Peter. Yep, safe travels. There's David. What do you say, sir? Hopefully you got a kind of a enjoyment out of that. That's pretty funny. It's an attention getter at the beginning for sure. There's Krister. What do you say, buddy? Let's see. Is it time to start asking what you got this year? Love the hat. Yeah. So I have one of the world's biggest noggins, and I went out onto the internet and I said, extra large hats. And they said, oh, we got that. And I said, okay, send me a couple. Well, I'm glad I ordered, and this is their smallest hat. They've got bigger. In fact, they got one big enough. It's like it fits over a statue of a gorilla that has a monster head. And but this one, this one is huge. This one is just huge. And but I like it because it fits over like this. That's kind of neat. Better than having to struggle about pulling it down. There's Brad. What do you say, man? Staying warm there in Tennessee? Hello, Krister, she says, and hello, Brad. There's my dog Rex saying hit that thumbs up if you would, please. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. There we go. Man, Lawrence is on board. Hey, what do you say, bud? I imagine it's getting pretty cold out next to you where you're at. Peter wants to know how's the best way to grind down the bounce on your wedge. Normally, the easiest, best way is with about a 2-inch belt sander with a supportive wheel on the very end. If you ever looked at it's called something King. Oh, Grind King. It's called a Grind King. Those are used on the trailers. They're very, very pricey. Okay, but I have got a secondary version of it on my Jet, and it's an attachment, and it's a wheel that attaches to the motor, and it's got an arm that sticks out, and then it's a wheel. It looks like a tractor tire, and that's what helps. And it's the idler pulley, and it gets out there, and that's what you do. So if you had, say, for instance, you had too much bounce. So, for instance, this is 10. So there's a nice little curve here. It's really nice. So if you had a whole lot of bounce, right, that would mean that it would look a little curved like this. Because a lot of bounce means that leading edge, the distance from here to where it sits is bigger. Okay, it's bigger. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take some from back here. All right, you want to take some from back here, and then you're going to shape it in order so that it looks uniform, like you just didn't take a strip of metal off the back. The second easiest way, and the way that some of the best grinders on the planet have ever done it, is with a grinding wheel. The ones that you can get, from, it used to be Sears, but wherever they sell grinders, and you don't have to be massive grinders, but the bigger ones are better. But they had some that are 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inches wide, and you can just get down on it, like you see in the Mura commercials or the videos where these guys are grinding wedges. That is probably one of the nicest ways of doing it, because the wheels have different grits. All right, sandpaper does the same thing, but they don't last as long. But that's the easiest way to do it. I'm saying hello. TK Pro. Rumor is the next Vokey wedges are going to be forged. That would be a huge change for Titleist. Yes, it would. It would also, I would imagine it would change the way people would use them, because, as we know, the forged wedges are going to be softer, made out of a softer metal than, say, a cast club. Even if they say it's a softer cast metal, they're still going to wear faster. But yeah, I would imagine that would give an unprecedented feel to that wedge. That would be neat. All right. Steve wants to know, how do you know when you've become a golf fanatic? It's 32 degrees, overcast, so you put a cover over the cart with a heater inside with 3 layers on and proceed to play 18 holes, shot an 84. You may have Matt beat on that one, except for he walks. He walks in that same kind of weather, and I can only imagine. But yes, you have qualified for the top ranking of Golf Fanatic. All righty. There it goes, TK Pro. P.S. This is Travis from New Jersey. I'm not sure. It's not showing my name on the comments. That's okay. Travis. All righty. Robin's going, yep, it's cold. I'd agree, dude. Dudette. Hope is all going well. Yes, it is, Wayne. Thank you for asking. Hope is all going well with you, too. It doesn't always show his name. It doesn't. He changed something along the lines. Saying hello, Wayne. Hannah kicked me out of the house, told me not to come back unless I have winnings cash together. You got her spoiled there, Peter, because you've been winning all that stuff, everything you've been looking at. Very good for you. Oh, I think she's getting out of there so she can wrap your Christmas present for you, man. Maybe that's it. What do you think? That is a good woman, yes. Yep. I think these clubs are cool, David, and they're in really great shape. I had to go look up your wedges because I've not seen the what do they call them, Uris, and with the little pepper numbers on them. That's pretty cool. Those are pretty neat. They're very clean. The little pepper thing is a little additive for me, but they're clean. I just like the shape of them. They're pretty cool. Logged into a pop-up of Jim and it never came on. Huh. How about that? So I got something new here for you, Charlie. So after that trip we went to, this is called Dark Arts. And this is a rye whiskey that was finished in a maple barrel with some Amburana staves that were in it. This is the first time of me getting to it. We went there and stopped in there, and I had a drink of this, I'm sure, and so this is the first right here on national news. Holy cow! So Amburana gives a kind of like a cereal note, like what do you call it, that Honey Crisp or something like that kind of note. That's what this one does too. And all kinds of sweet on it too. That's what the Amburana. A lot of people don't like Amburana because it makes it too sweet. I don't have that problem. Yeah, the Amburana is the main player in this one, and it was a 7.5 year whiskey, and it was at 110 proof. I get a lot of Amburana with just the sweetness at the end. The maple is not overpowering. Oh, there it is. There it is. Yep. Got a little bit in it. It's a good mix. I like this one. Did you get into the 12 days, man? I want to hear about it. Put the wrong time on the first one and caught up the last night. Oh, yeah. Robin found that out. She says, it's getting ready to go in about 5 minutes. And I was like, what? And went back. Sure enough, there it was. So we got her straightened out. Hey, good. At least that we got her all fixed up. And you guys are watching it in the normal thing here. I finally figured out where to cut it and just put it right back in the landscape again. So we should be good there. All righty. Happy Monday, Jim Robin. All played with my group on Saturday and just got home off the course today. Thumb is good for golf. Not so great for unscrewing lids, but that will come. Well, you got to take your steps as you can take them. Golfing or unscrewing lids. So I think you made a good choice. Way to go, man. Glad everything recovered well. All righty. Charlie, Jim, you ever build a set of irons paying particular attention to where the balance point in each club of the set is? Does it make a difference? Do they play better that way? That is very akin to MOI matching, Charlie, and no. Balance points of golf clubs should be very, very close to one another already. Okay. So what do I mean by that? So if you have a shaft and somewhere about 20 to, depending on whether it's an iron or it's a driver, between, I'm going to say 18 and 22 inches. And it sounds like a pretty wide span, but you're also talking about shafts that are anywhere from 37 and a half to 45, 46 inches. Okay. So I get that span. However, within that span, so if it was just irons or just drivers, the actual balance point change isn't this far. All right. Now, what happens in that balance point change, if you see stuff like counterbalanced, it goes up. Not counterbalanced, a little heavier in the toe, it goes down. And that's really about it. And what it really comes down to at that particular point, balance point, you start talking about, you can get into strain, and you can get into flex, and you can get into swing weights or MOIs. And I think it all kind of works itself out, to be honest with you. I've seen it done, and it was a whole lot of. Basically, you just balance it right, and if you're doing it correctly, if your swing weight is on, the balance point will be in the same spot. Now, if you say I need something in a lower balance point, now you're just tricking the club, right? You can either get a shaft that has a little more tip weight, or add just a little bit so you can get it down there. But the balance point of that club is predicated on the balance point of that shaft, because what happens is the weight on the head is going to change in 7-gram increments as you go down. And that's to make up for that half of an inch that you take off each way to go down there, hence your swing weight. And if you do it right, that balance point shouldn't really change a whole lot in there. Okay. Now, if you're changing the balance point on there on purpose, then I'd have to see why. All right. She says, glad you can swing the club. Robin, there you go. I'm trying to come up with things I'm good at. Observant is one of them. He will say nosy. Well, she said it, I didn't, but I'd agree. And those are yours. Yep. Here's the question. Hey, Krister, what's new in the bag this week? Let's find out. There we go. We're starting to talk back and forth. There's the fire from the video. Like I said, that's an attention getter, man. Woo! When that thing jumped, I thought, holy cow, and I'm not wearing gloves. And then I didn't do it at all. So, yeah. Yeah, it was the way that it was made, Charlie. So when it got done all flaming, the ferrule was gone. That's the reason why I had to really keep an eye on it. You saw me blowing it out, was because if I let it go, it would just keep burning, right? And eventually it would wear itself out, but I didn't want to damage the shaft. And so when you got done, you just saw me scraping just every little bit. It's because all the ferrule was gone. I was just removing some, we'll call it verdigris, off of it in order to get in there, because I needed it to be gone so I could use the golf shaft puller, right? And so that's what it worked out. First time I've ever seen something like that, to be sure. All right, let's see what happens here. Okay, it did blink, but it didn't do that. All right, Krister says he pulled the trigger on the Orcas. The RS10 with the Wishons. Sidewinders. You're going to like the Sidewinders. I like those. The Sidewinders are kind of cool. And they will last for a long, long time. Though you can, all that golfing, all that practicing you do, it should stand up to every bit of that. So, and the guys at Star are really, really good folk. And then 1 degree flat. There you go. Man, oh man, I bet Alex is proud as punch for that one. Very good. David says that's crazy. I'm sure that's about the flaming ferrules. Are they being built, or do you have them now? Let's see. Glad I didn't try to pull those myself. Yeah, that would have been a real an attention getter. And then when you catch them on fire, the soot gets on the outside, and you're like, oh my gosh, it just was horrible. I could have just as easily have taken a towel and wiped it off. But when we do this, I like cleaning it up. So we used the Glanz Wetch wheel, and we polished it a little bit and then cleaned out the inside. They're being built. Will be done Friday. All right. I'd like to see the finished product here. That's going to be fun. John Timmons, happy holidays from sunny Phoenix. Thank you, sir. Same to you. Looks like you're giving the irons the second forging. I tell you what, dude, that's the highest I've seen flame in a long time. The last time I saw something like that, I found there was a wooden dowel in it. Yeah, that'll get your attention, because those wooden dowels don't like going out as much. John Cherry, greetings everyone. Jim Rum, fellow golfers from Myrtle Beach. Unable to watch tonight. We're out for dinner with my daughter who is visiting. We'll watch later. Well, John, I would say take care of that family first. Maybe are you going to that? Was that dog saloon that you took that we met up at? That's a good place. I like that. Dead Dog Saloon. That's what it was. Rom, that's true. He wasn't even alarmed. I would have screamed. I think I was like, "Hey, come check this out." How's your golf game? On fire. No kidding. No kidding. Uh, yeah, to get your. I was really afraid that maybe that the smoke detector or the fire alarm would go off, and that would have been a problem. Okay, so this is just self promotion here. If you guys see, this is me. If you're looking to get into streaming, that's just if you click on here and use that, and you can get a little bit off on your first month, I think, and then I get a little kickback too, as it seems. All right, Rama says happy holidays. I would have peed my pants. Well, it was a jumper to be sure, but I guess that's all the training that we get. Just ask Charlie. Krister, that's a good one. Yep, it is a good one. I like that. There's a whole lot of jokes to be made about that. I'm just so. I mean, it's just real. This is such a good weekend. Spending it with Mrs. McGolf and getting out there and seeing the sights and stuff. It was a lot of fun. Yes. Jesse says, "Happy holiday, everyone." Well, thank you, Jesse. Appreciate that. Those irons are so hot, you need to use non-combustible ball when playing them. There you go. You don't want to imagine if you said that and you gave it that one exploding golf ball to hit and they hit that. That would send chills right up your backside, I'm sure. That's pretty funny. I was watching a meme today about errant golf shots and guys just hitting stuff, and it was funny. It starts off with, "Don't ever hit and it was at night. Don't ever hit a ball into the woods at night." And this guy hits one, and it sails, and it goes out of sight, and you don't hear anything. And then all of a sudden, you hear tonk. You're like, "Oh, okay, it hit a tree." And about 3 seconds later, here comes this golf ball flying back into the area where he was at. You want to talk about people jumping out of the way? That was a surprise. And then, of course, you always get the ones that the guy, there's too much junk in the way, and he hits the junk, and it comes back and it bounces and hits him in the head or in the junk or whatever. It was good entertainment for the mistakes, like we plan on people's problems. James Geiger, what do you say, sir? Jim Robin, Jim, what's your opinion on shaft puring? Mixed views on this topic on YouTube and the golf world. Is it worth the extra money? Yes, it is. Well, number one, I answer yes, it is. It's a chicken or the egg thing on YouTube. I would say the preponderance of the people are like, it doesn't need it, right? You can't get any more out of it. You can't do anything like that. I will tell you what, every time I get asked this question, I say it's about a 50-50 split with my people. And there are people that can live without it, won't ever notice it, and then there's other people that can't live without it and will never notice it. So, in theory, what it does is it gets it so it's bending the same way every time. And so the argument to that is, yeah, but you don't swing the club the same way every time. Granted, but if you don't have it balanced to the way that it can do it, can you ever expect it to get to that position ever once? There's the answer. Anyway, I've had my debates about it, and I leave it up to the person. And what I like saying is, what we do here is we do spine and flow. And spine and flow is basically where either the fibers of the shaft get together, or that's where the steel shaft was welded, even if it was micro welded. There's very few shafts out there that you can't find the spine of this club. Then you put the spine of the club on the bottom, okay, and you put the head on it, and then you twang it and you flow it so it goes up and down, and you use a laser so that you can see it. That is literally the poor man's version of doing spining. Or I'm sorry, of puring. and it gets you to the same spot. Now, Puring uses a computer, gets you the right spot on the club and the whole 9 yards. The real problem is it doesn't use a head. It's just balancing the shaft. When we do it, when you do the spine and flow and you use the head, you're getting the whole enchilada now. You're using the spine or the head. You're getting it in line, even with particularly if you got something with a lot of offset, and the investment into it is not that much. Now, the last bit of this on the plus and the minus is that Puring will find the spot, but if you don't align it in just that right spot, then your Puring is pretty much gone. All right, and that's what we do when we do the spine and the flow, is that I put a line on the back that goes across the hosel, goes across the shaft, so that I can marry them up so that I'm not off. Okay, and so when guys have sent me pured shafts, I will put them together and I will twang them and make sure that they come out correctly. Now, it's funny, and not every time, once or twice out of all the times I've done it, is that I will have to turn it 45 degrees to get that puring sensation that they were talking about. So is it worth it? I'm gonna default to it's under the eye of the beholder. Is it proven to work every single time? The answer is no. Is there another way of getting to the same place? The answer is yes, and it's spine and flow. Does either one of those make it play better? I will say it makes it play more consistent. All right, makes it play more consistent. All right, and that's where we go with that. There's he's talking to Charlie. Have a nice visit with your daughter. I'd agree. It's stick grips. It looked like slick grips, the way that thing. Well, stick grips makes more sense, David. It looks like slick grips. In fact, when I typed it in, that's what came up. Were the same kind of grips and everything. So I thought it was slick grips. That's funny. But it looks like slick on there. That's funny. All right. Question: Puring wouldn't work on a tileless driver with adjustable cog, where the shaft rotates, changing loft. Lie moving the P stamp and Puring to a different position. I'm always changing loft on mine. You would be correct. If you're now if you're talking about the driver and you have one of those where the shaft does this to move, then you've pretty much ruined the whole idea of the Puring, and don't worry about it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. There's only two times of where that goes into a driver where that works. Number one is if it's a bonded club where it just glues straight in and you can't move it anyway. All right. The second one is Callaway, because both their cogs move and it never comes off the slot. You're just spinning that. So it would work with those two. Muir irons, you won't want to use anything less than a Nippon shaft, and then Nippon shafts are made from samurai swords and they can take the heat. Well, I was looking him up. His wedges are called Yuri's, Yururi, and they're made in Himeji, Japan, which I believe is in the same place that the Miuras are made. Himeji is a really big forging area, or a foundry area. And yeah, they always talk about the swords over there. All righty. Good. That's what we want to see. And logo up is fine. We got it now. January built drivers using VA composite shafts. Yep. In fact, I've got it's not the Voodoo. It's the copper and black one. It's very nice. I've got one of those sitting in my shop here as a spare. Like the Villain, I guess the guy worked for Fujikura for years, branching out on his own. VA Composites. Yeah, VA is his initials. Victor Affable, I think, is his name. And he also did Obon. I didn't know he did Obon, but I knew he did Fuji. Yeah, he's been out there for quite a long time. He's a super nice guy. Knows a truckload about golf shafts. And I like how he's taken these golf shafts, and what he's done is he's put a kind of a flare to them. The flare is kind of a brighter graphic, giving it a kind of a name, that kind of thing, like Villain, right? And I just wish I could remember what that copper one was. But and they're really good shafts too. They're made out of high quality stuff, and they do react very, very well. I could recommend them in an instant. In fact, we used to be dealers. John Timmons will be doing the Bourbon Trail first week in June with my brother. Can't wait to visit. Cool. Where are you guys going? Because the Bourbon Trail is pretty long, right? It's got 50 plus places on it now. So if you're going for a vacation and that's truly your primary focus, you really want to plan it out. All right. Planning is the key to success here. Planning, water, and protein in order so that you're not stumbling from one place to the next. That's a rookie error, and we've all made it. John, it's a great experience. I don't like the bourbon, but enjoy the history, and I do too. The history of this place, of these places, and the marketing that goes with them is they're all outstanding, right? Some stories are better than others, but it's really really a lot of fun. My favorite one on the trail to date, I believe, is still James E. Pepper. That one's one of my favorite stories. One of my favorite histories is McBrayer, and then the rest of them kind of intertwine. Glenn's Creek, Cross Keys, or Castle and Keys, those are all really really nice. They have a lot of history, old timey history with them. Stitzelweller is another one. The rest of them, you get these craft distilleries they try and latch on to something that was old, but they're not necessarily old themselves by using older recipes, that kind of stuff. But those are really cool. 80 degrees, David. Now you're just showing off, man. Our overnight low is 9. Ugh. We're not too far behind you, dude. Once it starts getting below 20, I don't think it makes a difference. There we go. Peter, carefully and one little bit at a time. Cold snap here in Buckeye Country, 78 on my patio. Well done, sir. Well done. Yeah, where's he at? Well, I imagine he's somewhere down south. Those videos of Muir grinding wedges are cool. They are. And those guys know exactly what they're doing. I'm sure they just don't let anybody get on those things. And the funny part is that where they sit and how they sit is actually an ergonomically positive way to be sitting to do those. When you lay over them, because they're not, if you notice, they're just throwing their hands. You just see this. You don't see a lot of this. You don't see them moving a lot of this. You see this, right? And that's the ergonomics of it. It's the ergonomics of making it so that they can go for a long time. Grew up in south of Columbus. All right, Fort Myers, nice. So were you rooting for Ohio or Ohio State, Indiana or Ohio State? Good thing you hadn't taken a good sip of bourbon before you blew out those ferals. Oh, no kidding. No kidding. I wouldn't be talking to you right now if that was the case. Grove City, no kidding. We're literally about 45 minutes from there. It's just north of us. We really, really like that. Okay. We really, really like that place. Yep. Now, yeah, Jim, I finally recovered and will begin my journey of discovery. Then you again, looking forward to each tasting. Well, cool. Very nice. He only gave you 12 so you can start the end of the week. There you go. You got permission. MOI matching versus swing weight. I would go with swing weight. So MOI matching is cool to be sure, but I think you give up too much to get too little. It's definitely a process. It definitely can help in a lot of people. The way that you swing, honestly, Krister, if he can do MOI matching, I'd give it a shot, right? I would give it a shot. If he's doing it right, MOI matching and swing weighting can go together. Not very many people can do it, though. So if you got a guy that can do it, more's the better. Only 12, that's a lot of enjoyment there. Yes, it is. So pace yourself. That's what we've been doing. We've been doing this advent calendar. I got it from Sealbox, which is a distributor. And they went and they picked their stuff. And today was a high wire Jimmy Red. And it's a bottle and bond. It's out of Charleston. And a pretty decent little pour. Yep, it's only 12. Yeah, no doubt. That all's true. All is true. But the 12 is a good one. I do have quite a bit now. He has plenty to share, and that's a fact. All right. And there's some good stuff in there too, Charlie. You'll be surprised when you see the list. True. That's right, Jim. We don't want half the enchilada. We like to say in the Navy, don't be half-assed about the work that you do. Absolutely. Absolutely. And unfortunately, I don't think we see that a lot anymore. David said he apprenticed for a Japanese company back in the 80s to learn the printing trade. Ooh, I bet that was something else because those folks are very meticulous when it comes to craft. And I don't mean crafts like making a basket. I mean craft is in a job that is kind of an art form. Very, very nice. That's a good one. Okay. So it looks like we got down to the bottom, boys and girls. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for watching out from all over the world, all over the United States. I'm glad that you guys are asking me questions. Don't be afraid to, because it's always fun. If I don't know it, I end up going to look it up anyway. I'm going to be finishing up this set for David, and there will be a video on it, and it will include that ferrule going geyser-like on me. And we'll talk about more of putting it together. Okay. So as we get there, David's saying Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you, sir. And we do this and saying, hey, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Join me over at Pars and Pours if you would. That would be a lot of fun. We're still trying to grow that one as well. And it's been real fun. So we're going to learn some new. I think we're going to take McGolf in certainly it'll still be golf equipment and stuff like that. But I think I'm going to use more. That simulator kind of turned me on to some stuff. I'm going to do a little practicing with it, and we'll see. We'll talk about going a little bit more live. So we're going a little bit more of a different direction as opposed to just me sitting here. Now, I will be here quite more than often than not, but we'll get into it more as we go forward. So again, guys, go back and watch Boxes to Builds #1. Yeah, there you go. And as always, guys, I appreciate it. And as we like to say, let your scores go low.